You're listening to the Masonic Light Podcast. Starring Pete Ruggieri, Larry Maris, and Jason Lewis. This podcast is not endorsed by any Grand Lodge, and the ridiculous ramblings of the hosts are their own. So sit back and enjoy some Masonic conversation without pretension. And now, here's your hosts, Pete, Larry, and Jason.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Masonic Light Podcast. This is Pete. I'm here with our full cast today. We got Larry, Jason, and Jack, and we're here doing episode 20. So, Jason, how do you feel about episode 20?
I can't believe we're on episode 20, that we've made it this far.
They say, like, most podcasts die around episode 13. If you get past, like, 13 or 14, I guess you're going to stick around for a while.
We're here to stay.
Should we quit using the word die?
Oh, yeah, speaking of that, Larry's on the table tomorrow morning. So hopefully he'll survive his surgery, or we're going to have to edit the shit out of this episode and delete this whole opening.
Insert the knife sharpening sound effect right here.
Yeah. So Larry, what do you have going on tomorrow?
What do I have going on tomorrow?
You're with your surgery.
Oh, yeah, I'm number one in the batting order, so they will start the surgery at 7:30 in the morning. So all you folks here in Central PA, if you're having your 8 o'clock coffee, think about me. I'm going to get my coffee at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
So I guess we'll get into the week that was. So, Jack, welcome back. We haven't seen you in a while. You've had an exciting couple weeks since we saw you last.
Well, I managed to crawl to Philadelphia for the quarterly communication of the Grand Lodge of Philadelphia. So I got to see all of the Grand High Muckety Mucks all in the Corinthian room?
I think so.
Yeah. It was very cool.
How would you rate their floor work on a 1 to 10?
Ooh, on a 1 to 10. Ooh, hard. Do they listen to the show?
No.
Okay. 9.
Oh, that's pretty good then.
8.5, 9. It was good. The problem was there were so many people in a room that they had chairs in front of the first row of seats, which meant that they had like a 3-foot wide aisle to get 400 dignitaries down to get to where they sit.
So they introduce them all?
Every bloody one. Yeah, one at a time. All to the altar, all marshaled up there and throwing signs and doing the thing. And so it was interesting. It was the last box I had to check on my Master Pillar Award.
Nice.
So I'll be able to give that to our district deputy, and I'm hoping I can have it presented at the Lodge in the Woods in September.
That'd be great.
So that would be cool.
And then you, we mentioned this on an earlier podcast, but you did you conferred one of the degrees when a handful of us drove into Philly.
Yeah, that was cool at the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania. And anybody that hasn't either been on the website and taken the virtual tour or been there in person, the Grand Lodge of Philadelphia is just a magnificent Masonic building. It's got to be one of the top 3 maybe in the world. I don't know. But we had the honor of conferring all 3 degrees on a brother's son who's joining the Navy. And I got to do the Master Mason degree, so I got to sit in the big chair in the East. I felt like Edith Ann waiting for...
Yeah, and if you haven't seen the throne in the East in the Egyptian room...
No, it's awesome.
It's big and it's high. Like, Jack's feet were dangling at least a foot off the floor.
Yeah, it's huge.
It was fun.
You have to jump to get up there.
It was very cool. It was like, I tell people it's like playing Carnegie Hall. It was just awesome.
Larry, what have you had anything Masonic going on?
No, not a whole lot. I've been purposely staying away from people so I don't get any kind of illnesses or screw myself up like I did the last time. And no, so I've been kind of in a bubble. I think the only thing I did was went to Goose and Gridiron breakfast, but I stayed away from lodge meeting, just kind of been living in a bubble for the past few days.
Well, like John Travolta.
Yeah.
That's an old reference.
Wow, whoosh.
Jason's too young to remember that one. Jason, have you done anything Masonically?
Goose and Gridiron and Lodge 43 we had a second makeup one-day class on the 3rd, so that was a week ago. That went pretty well. We had a couple brothers come in that either had some health issues or traveled for work and were unavailable for the 29th class that you guys heard about a ton in past episodes. So we did that. We did 3 candidates, first, second, third degree, all in a row. Got it done in less than 3 hours. So that was pretty fun. And then I went to your Lamberton Lodge 476's extra meeting to see our friend Ben get his 3rd degree.
Sorry, I missed that.
purewatertechnology.com.
Exactly. No.
Pure Water PA.
purewaterpa.com.
purewaterpa.com. So I walked into Lamberton to visit, and it turned out that there were 2 degrees that night, but there was only one guide, and there was nobody. I'm sure this works similarly in other states, but we always have the guide wait out in the Tyler room until it's his turn to go in. But you had a candidate, your fellow craft candidate, that would have been all by himself because they only had one guide. So I ended up volunteering.
You made eye contact.
I made, well, and it was nice because we like Ben. We had breakfast with Ben, and I was able to be his friend and guide through the 3rd degree.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah.
Well done.
Cool.
So it was fun. And then I left.
By the way, Ben said that his boss said this was the best money spent on advertising that he has ever done.
Because they've never did any before?
No, they've done it before in radio.
Well, we should
and
send
so
out the
forth,
bill
but
to the other pure water company then, too.
Where else do you get constant?
The one we keep plugging by mistake?
The only thing I had Masonic, I guess, was my exodus from Grotto.
We did
I
have
had
Grotto.
my installation, or not my installation. Mark Mattern, he is the new potent monarch of Ubar Grotto, and I am now the has-been past monarch. And I got the big shiny hat.
Impotent has been.
Yeah, like the hat is so out of control. The fez, it's like Richard Simmons would like tell you to tone it down a little bit.
The word bling doesn't even
It
apply.
is like bedazzled beyond bedazzle. I came home and I was wearing it, and my wife just looked at me and she's like, "You are such a nerd."
But the giant purple tassel really sets it off.
Well, it's currently braided.
Oh, nice.
I was bored. I braided it. And when I was up in New England, I saw the Supreme Monarch. Noticed one guy had it done, and was like, he looked kind of like a little bit perturbed, but okay, it's one guy. Then the rest of the guys from Navigrado also had it done. So I think somebody pulled the guys aside and was like, yeah, you're not allowed to like braid your tassel
There's
into
a
a French
Jamaican
braid.
woman in the lobby that's braiding the tassel.
Oh, if I could put some beads in it, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, man.
Oh, so I guess we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and our topic today, Jason, will be?
Ask Larry.
Larry, what's our topic today?
Basically, I think what I had mentioned.
I just turned the knobs.
Yeah, you turned the knobs. We're going to talk about the influence that Freemasonry has on the overall community. We do things together as brothers. We do things to help brothers. We have the almoners. We have all of these things. But we also do a heck of a lot in our community. And a lot of it we don't get credit for because we really don't go out and seek credit for it. And I'll give you a recent example when we come back about some of the things I'm talking about. We have a lot of brothers in different organizations that do some fantastic stuff. And I think that directly, it just makes us as a craft look so superior. So that's what we're going to talk about, the impact of Freemasonry on our community.
And making good men better.
Yes.
Hey there, listeners. This is Pete, and I wanted to tell you about MasonicScarves.com. Masonic Scarves offers full-color, knitted soccer-style scarves, perfect for you to wear to lodge, out casually, or even to display in your home. I currently have in our lineup pretty much every Masonic body from Blue Lodge, York Rite, Scottish Rite, Grotto, Shrine. If you think about it, I probably have it. Are you a turtle? Well, you bet your sweet ass I have a scarf for that. So you can easily order online with a credit card, and I'll generally have your scarf in the mail the next business day. Do you need an easy fundraiser for your lodge or organization? I can have a custom scarf design delivered to you in about 4 weeks, as long as you order a minimum of 50 pieces. I can help you with the artwork, and you'll have an original item that you can sell or hand out as a gift for visitors or past masters. Visit MasonicScarves.com or drop me an email at info@MasonicScarves, and I'll be glad to help you. Okay, welcome back. So yeah, we're going to get into one of our own square table discussions here, our rectangular table discussions.
It's an oblong square.
Yes. Ooh. So now we just made it truly Masonic. So Larry, talk to us about our topic today. We're going to talk about Freemasons in the community.
Right. And you're a shining example of what I really want to talk about. And I'll give the listeners a bit of an idea here. This weekend, this last Saturday, as a matter of fact, you've been hosting and basically managing, with the help of other volunteers, what we call Santa Stumble. They have a different name for it in Australia, and they all dress up anyway.
Well, it's kind of like Santa Con in New York, but it's not a complete disaster like Santa Con in New York. Ours is for a charity. It's for the police, so the police are there. So everybody actually somehow behaves.
Yeah. And the idea for the funds, what you're raising the money for, is the city of Lancaster has a horse patrol. When actually they're out there every day, and they have canine units that are really, really excellent. And you raise money for that part of the city of Lancaster for the canine and the horse patrol.
Yeah, the city did a smart thing years and years ago. When they founded the Mounted Patrol, they made sure that $0 came out of the city budget for it, and it's all by donations. And an example of that was the city of Philadelphia had one that was budgeted. Well, some mayor became mayor during a budget crisis and was like, well, why are we spending $300,000 a year on horses in 1980 or whatever year it was? So that was just like a line they crossed off, and the Mounted Patrol went away. Well, fast forward to 20 years, they wanted to start it back up again. It's not exactly a lot of stables in the city of Philadelphia. So the fact that we're doing it for volunteer, the city can't just shut it down. And it really is a positive thing. It's like for a lot of the inner city kids, most of their interactions with law enforcement are a negative thing. Them like coming to the neighborhood, arresting somebody like that. So it really helps give a positive first meeting with the police department for a lot of these city kids that, maybe wouldn't normally have one.
You started this about how many years ago?
I think it's the 8th year.
8th year. And the first year you brought in...
Well, the first year was an accident. Like, I went to one of these things once before, and I'm like...
Wait, I'll give you money, wait.
Like, this is really fun. So I just like, hey, why don't we do a pub crawl, and we all dress up like Santa or something. We hand out stupid dollar store gifts to people along the way. Well, I have a lot of Facebook friends, and the first year when it started, like 300 people RSVP that they're going to come. I'm like, that's a lot of people to go downtown. So I gave a polite heads up to the cops, like, hey, we're going to be doing this. And I charged $5 a head. So we gave the cops $1,500. Then it's just been multiplying exponentially since then.
Last year you brought in, what, about $18,000?
$18,000, yeah.
And this year it is over $30,000.
Yeah, about $32,000.
That's
crazy.
Is unbelievable. Wow. That is phenomenal.
Yeah, we had over 2,000 people downtown, packed into every single bar, dressed up like Santa, naughty Mrs. Claus, reindeer, Cousin Eddie, Krampus, like any Christmas-related thing you can think of. And for most of the bars, it is their busiest night of the year, like their top grossing night, including a couple Irish bars that you would think it'd be St. Patty's Day, but no, it's the stupid Santa Stumble.
That's awesome. Over $30,000. I mean, that is unbelievable. And it ties in with one of the things I wanted to talk about. You've been a Mason many, many, many years. You are the epitome. I don't want to use these awful words, but you are the epitome of what a brother is in the community.
You're phenomenal, Pete.
You're phenomenal. You don't.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenon.
People know you. They know you. And they know about you. And essentially, you are a Freemason, and everybody knows that. And you don't go around touting that, but they know that.
Yeah.
And to me,
Could be the
that
scarf.
says-
It's a giveaway.
that says a lot
Or
of great-
the sleeve of tattoos that are all Masonic.
Or the 10,000 emblems on your car.
Right.
And that's one of the things that was talking about what we all do and what other people and other brothers do and how they tie into the community. And they're not necessarily doing Masonic things, but they're doing a lot of good things. So we open it up. Another thing we do, talk about the school that we run. Well, that we're part of. I don't say we run it. Well, I guess
Right.
we do help manage it.
Yeah.
Jason, talk about it. You're on that board, aren't you?
I'm not on the board for the school itself. They have a separate board, but I'm on the board for the Lancaster Masonic Center, where the dyslexia school is a tenant, and the Scottish Rite and the Lancaster Masonic Center and the Blue Lodges, all support that dyslexia school, and they've serviced something like 200 kids in the course of the last. I think they've been there for 5 or 6 years at this point, and it's totally free. Totally funded by Masonic activities, and then also some of the folks they're charitable in the community that do like what the fraternity does. And those kids don't have to be clinically diagnosed with dyslexia; they just have to show signs, and they actually get approved there at the school. And and they help them with all their schoolwork and get them through class and help them with any kind of educational improvement plans or EIPs that might be laid out from the state.
They've had some good success stories there too, from what I understand.
Absolutely.
They had was it one young lady or one young man about 3 years ago that got into law school?
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, that's fantastic. No lulls, no lull, no dead
Awkward
air,
pause.
No dead air.
Dead air.
Yeah. So no, but I just think it's very important. A lot of lodges don't do, other than your typical pancake breakfast that we joke around about.
It's one on Saturday.
Or they'll be in a sappy parade that nobody really cares about anymore. But, we need to do more things in the public. Besides, we do, like we were talking about the Almoners Fund, we're doing a better job of taking care of ourselves. But as Masons, when we do something nice in the community, we try not to tell anybody about it.
I'm going to throw this out because I had some trouble with this early on in my Masonic career. I was sitting in a Blue Lodge meeting, and one of the local Boy Scout troops asked for some money for a specific project. They had to put a roof on their building. And the lodge went berserk. Oh, we can't give money to the Boy Scouts. Oh, I can't do this. We can't do. We'll have every Boy Scout asking us for money and rah, 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 rah. So I had a real problem with that, and there's two stories that come out of this. One is the thing we do at High Sports now as a fundraiser in the end of April. But the other thing was it caused me to reflect on the Blue Lodge itself. And in point of fact, the Blue Lodge and our Blue Lodges are not philanthropic organizations. By charter, they're not philanthropic. They're organizations that teach its members to be philanthropic, right? And there's a subtle difference there, but it's very real. And a lot of people come in and why aren't we doing more of that kind of, pancake breakfast and stuff? Because that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to enable you and help you learn how to do those kinds of things. But the Blue Lodge itself isn't. The appendant bodies all are, right? They all have their own thing. But it took me a while to get my arms around that at Blue Lodge.
Well, I think that the Blue Lodges teach us to be philanthropic, but honestly, I think that philanthropic gene is already there. Mason or not, Pete would most likely be doing these fundraisers because he's passionate about animals and you take on rescue animals,
And he's got to raise bail money.
he's got to
at
raise
some
bail
point.
money. You were involved. You were a police officer at one point.
But it has cut down on my traffic tickets.
Yeah. And before Masonry, I've been actively involved in the Moya Moya. Moya Moya is a brain disease that I happen to have, but I've been active in my Moya Moya community, whether it be fundraising or, talking to families that have just been recently diagnosed and they have no idea what's about to happen. I think that the things that attract people to Freemasonry are already there. You know, like,
Yes, exactly correct.
Yeah, I think if somebody's already philanthropic, they look at the Masons because they look at the big Mason picture. They're just lumping the Shriners in with us and the Tall Cedars and all these other groups, and saying, well, if I like to help people.
Right.
That's a whole group that helps people.
Right. And then they come to Blue Lodge and they don't see it. And then that's when somebody hands them a petition for Shrine or Tall Cedars or whatever.
All of us have been in situations where we do things for various community organizations, and we don't necessarily ever bring up the fact that we're Freemasons. A lot of people don't know that I am. I think they probably do now.
I mean, I've never seen your degree, so
No,
I'm not sure
that's
if you
true.
are or not.
That's true. It was sent up to the Grand Lodge via Pony Express several years ago.
The I don't know, Larry. Larry threw at 10 minutes and 40 seconds. Larry threw me for a loop. Well, so Larry, point in fact, when I was doing the Santa Stumble, I'm at the registration desk and we're collecting all this money, and one of the guys that was helping, the guy's name is Colin, and he is a representative from Ace Distributing, and he really helped us out a lot with prizes, getting us money from beer companies and some swag to give away. And so when we had a quiet moment, he asked me about the Masons. And he says, yeah, I was an Acacia brother in college, which is a fraternity that's kind of based out of the Freemasonry. But yeah, so I think, in the new year, I'm going to get a petition from this guy, because here's somebody that already likes helping people. And I think, when you see other people that are like-minded, you just kind of want to associate yourself with them.
Yeah, exactly. And let's face it, we do a great job of promoting Freemasonry amongst our brothers, but we don't do a great job of promoting Freemasonry to the community.
No, and I think that's the challenge of, do we recruit, or do we, I kind of like to call it silently recruiting. the more that we're out in the public doing good work in our personal
And I agree. I think
agendas.
That's silently recruiting, and I like that term.
Right. And not to toot Pete's horn anymore and make his ego any bigger, but, how many petitions have you, been a first line signer for?
Oh,
he got about 22 at the Reverend Horton Heats gig last night.
I've probably been the first line signer for over 50 people.
Right. And that's from your day-to-day adventures.
Right.
Where you've met those people.
I used to actually like people. Now I'm pretty much a hermit. So the fact that I was out amongst 2,000 people on Friday or Saturday, and then last night Jason and I were at a concert. Yeah, I'm gonna just hide from people for a week. So.
Yeah, I saw you double fisting your drinks, trying to make it your way to the front.
Yeah, so Jason and I went to go see the Reverend Horton Heat, Unknown Hinson, Nashville Pussy.
Oh.
Well, it's a band. You can't have to beep it.
That's their name.
And what was the other band? Lucky Tub?
No, something Modern Day Troubadours or something like that.
I feel bad for those guys because we forgot their name. But yeah, it was really it was a fun night because there's a lot of people from the rockabilly crowd. Isn't getting younger.
No.
There's no new rockabilly fans.
No fresh meat.
Yeah,
No.
You don't look around the room and see a bunch of 21-year-old guys and gals. It's the same, 47-year-old guys like me that don't fit in their social distortion jacket anymore. And the girl dressed like Betty Page that is about 10 pounds too big for that dress.
So it's similar to Freemasonry that the average age is going up.
Yeah.
But the only difference is the millennial population is not growing.
The mosh pit is a lot more tame than when I was a kid because you can throw a hip.
It was a good show, though.
If Blue Lodge needed a soundtrack, it would be rockabilly.
We did years ago. I did we had an extra meeting on a Tuesday night or Thursday night, and Hank the Third was playing next door at the Chameleon Club. So I took, 5 of my officers, all in tuxes and tails, and we went over to see Hank Williams III. And you walk in past the entrance, and we get inside, and it's like the record skipped because everybody's just completely.
I've seen this movie.
Redneck flannel, even on stage, they're what the hell are you guys doing here?
It doesn't skip. It goes. Zzz.
Yeah, like oh, we just left a wedding, you know, like we abandoned a wedding. So, but I mean, but silly though, like that's the kind of thing that we do, at least in our own lodge, to let people know that hey, Freemasonry can be fun, and you know, like I don't hide the fact that I'm a Freemason.
Yeah.
Whereas I think some people, maybe in other countries, they do.
Well, we're very fortunate in the States that we can, right? There's a lot of places where you can get jailed or worse.
Right, and the older guard, you know, the guys that came in, you know, like Larry 40-some years ago. I don't mean that disrespectfully, but you know, it was a different time back then. I mean, these guys were coming home from World War II where they were being killed.
Larry was in Vietnam. Well, he was in Key West in Vietnam, but he's,
It's the worst damn thing I've ever heard. I'm an old guard.
I didn't mean.
Oh, that was.
Holy.
When I said I don't mean that disrespectfully.
but Larry's in his 70s. World War II would be like
come on.
90s.
Just the way you said that just hit me like a ton of bricks.
It was harsh. It was harsh.
I'll edit it out.
No.
No. Unnecessary.
Well,
I demand you don't edit that out.
you're.
I think we have 4 decades in here, don't we? Right now?
Yeah,
I think we do.
Well, if your father was a Mason, he wouldn't have talked about it for those kind of reasons.
No, he wouldn't have. Right. No. And I guess I may have inherited a little bit of that. I came from a family of Masons, and I used to delight when they all visited and talked about it, because I felt I was being privy to secrets, which I really wasn't, but it was nice. So, I mean, and again, secrets, and then they didn't share a whole heck of a lot. They, as my grandmother used to say, they talk in code. What the hell's talking in code?
My wife calls it mumbling.
Mumbling.
My wife just rolls her eyes and walks
Masonic
away.
mumbling. Yeah, the Masonic eye roll. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, she's just convinced it's like the nerdiest thing. It's like, where do nerds go when they graduate high school and college? They go to the Masons, which I'm fine with that. You know?
Oh, it's definitely Dungeons and Dragons for adults.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get, you know,
Minus the Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, we do know that a predominant amount of podcast listeners are.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Larry just called you all nerds.
Wow. Send your postcards to Larry Maris,
room 112 at Lancaster General Hospital for his rehab.
P.O. Box 1, Gap, Pennsylvania.
So I got to share this. I've been watching that show Vikings that's on History Channel.
Yes, very cool.
Which is amazing.
Yes.
And one of the main cities is Uppsala, Sweden, where we have a lot of listeners.
We have a lot of listeners in Uppsala. Yes,
I know. So
we do.
Vikings are listening to this.
Hey, hats off to Uppsala. We love you. Keep listening.
Was that
And send us a ticket, and we'll come over and we'll do a live remote.
We will be happy to do that.
Uppsala? She was like the mean woman on The Apprentice, right?
No,
That was Omarosa.
No, that was Omarosa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She make rolls for Philly cheesesteaks, doesn't she?
Yeah. Ooh,
Yeah.
Those are tasty.
I think, yeah.
Should we go to break?
Let's go to break
right.
and let's figure out something else to talk about.
The Red Serpent by Larry Maris. One man's obsession to avenge the death of his wife uncovers a long-hidden, ancient blueprint to perfect the world for future generations. Visit www.larrymaris.com. You can purchase this book anywhere except CVS.
Hey, welcome back. So, if you listened to last episode, you know that we added one new feature last episode, and then this episode we're going to continue along that. So that episode is you have to say it, Jason, because I don't know how to say it.
Which one?
Seth's piece.
Oh, Corpora Obscurum. Obscure societies.
Yeah. So Seth's going to be doing a report every week on different fraternal organizations. They're not necessarily Masonic, but you know, just how they came about and
Every episode, not every week, but
okay. And then so we're going to do another one of those, and but the one I'm also really excited about is Brother RC is going to be doing his Brother on the Street.
His maiden voyage.
So we're sending RC out into the wilds of Lancaster County.
Does that make him the brother on the street?
I think so. From another mother.
So we'll call him BQ.
Yeah. How does he pronounce masonry?
Masonry.
The masonry, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
he and Larry Hudson both. They can't say Freemasonry. I have no idea. Maybe it's because he's from California.
Masonry.
But it's
kind of like mercenary.
Freemasonry.
The Mason mercenary.
That's the stuff between the bricks,
Right.
isn't it?
So maybe he'll hear this episode.
He's spreading the cement.
So he's going to hear this and he's going to be like, "Oh man, they're already talking about me." So, RC, it's
we love you, baby.
It's masonry, not masonry. 'Cause that's concrete.
You're about to enter
Corpora Obscurum.
the realm of weird fraternal organizations.
Leave your Freemasonry behind.
Prepare to meet druids, caliphs, and wild creatures.
Knock thrice.
And enter at your own risk.
Well, holly jolly holidays there, Masonic Light listener. On today's Obscura Corporum, we're going festive and talking about the Benevolent and Protective Order of Reindeer. The Benevolent and Protective Order of Reindeer was started in the early part of the 20th century by some very unhappy members of the Loyal Order of the Moose. These members from New Jersey were appalled that the Moose would not let in African Americans. In response, they created their own version of the Moose that did not have these prejudices. However, the Moose sued the group and forced them to change their name. In a fit of brilliance, or perhaps defiance, they decided if they couldn't be Moose, they'd be reindeer instead. The first conference as reindeer occurred in the spring of 1923, with the first annual convention being held in September of the same year. Conventions have been held in September since that time. It was thought that the first convention took place in Atlantic City, New Jersey, but is now believed to have occurred in Newark. In September of 2011, we were contacted by a past grand director of the organization. We spoke at length about the reindeer today. They are still active, meeting mainly in the northeastern United States. The group still uses a ritual that is very similar to the moose and the elks. However, it was written specifically for the reindeer. However, there is a discussion about relaxing the required use of ceremonies and some of the constitutional requirements on lodges in an effort to gain membership. Local bodies are divided into lodges for men and chapters for women. Lodges are led by a director, while chapters are led by a most noble queen. The Grand Lodge or chapter is not a state-level body, but rather a national one, covering all of the remaining lodges. The leader of the Grand Lodge is the Grand Director. Upon completion of a term as Grand Director, which lasts 1 year, the man becomes a past Grand Director-elect. The title of past Grand Director can be conferred as an honorary one as well. Any man who has served as a Grand Director or who has been honored with the title of past Grand Director may become a member of the Grand Directors Forum. This group operates within the organization to advise the current Grand Director. Want to learn more about the reindeer? Check out the Museum of Fezology under the Animal Lodges section to see the regalia and view more historical information. All of this can be found on our museum at fezmuseum.com.
All right, well, so we just heard about the Loyal Order of Reindeer. Larry, have you ever heard of these guys?
Never. Never. Absolutely never. But I did get a kick out about the lawsuit. That was kind of neat.
Well,
You know, a fight between elks, moose, and reindeer. I mean, that's totally unnatural.
sounds like they're in a rut.
Yeah.
Come on. That's
Stone him.
yeah.
No, I never heard anything like this. But I haven't heard, listened to a couple of Seth's broadcasts already. I haven't heard about anything that he's talked about.
No, there's some great ones. Like I was just at a lodge in the southern end of town, or southern end of the county, called the Ancient Order of Croaking Frogs. And it's a little social club. At one point, they had like 2 or 3 ponds. A chapter is called a pond. But you know, all I know is like you could get a like any private club in Pennsylvania, you could get a cheeseburger for like $1.75, and you could get
50-cent beer.
A mixed drinks like $2. All right, so now, brother R.C. McCorvey and brother on the street.
Drum roll.
Do you have his theme music you can play for?
Yeah,
for
I'm
us?
gonna play the theme music. I just was gonna do a little extra drum roll. All right, without further ado.
Brother on the Street with R.C. McCorvey.
TJ Quinn.
TJ Quinn.
Yep.
TJ Quinn, Ron.
Pleasure to
Brother
meet
on
you.
the Street. New worshipful master for Lodge 43. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good right now.
We asked all the new candidates, and we're going to ask you, what can Blue do for you? And what can you do for Blue?
Well, let's see. Blue Lodge for me has surrounded me with people of integrity, values. It's filled my time with very admirable things. For example, if I need something, I don't expect to have it for free, but I know exactly who to trust. I surround myself with trustworthy individuals, and that's really, really important to me. As far as going to the lodge and back to the lodge, really, you get out of it what you put into it. So the more you work for the lodge, the stronger you feel as a brotherhood, and that's what it's all about.
I have a question. What do you plan on doing to get brothers to come out to the meetings and the extra meetings? Anything fun prepared?
Sure. We have a lot. We have a really nice programs. A lot of good programs. We also have a couple family nights that will allow some guests to come. For example, the Masonic Widows program. We're going to be trying to get some people from Masonic villages, some widows, and things like that, to get them to come out to do a presentation for them, to let them know that they are not forgotten. So we're trying to include families. We're also trying to do family picnics down at James Buchanan's house, things like that. So.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a very exciting and fun year, for the worshipful master, Brother Quinn.
Brother Quinn, I'm looking forward to it, Brother Quinn. Thank you for having us.
It is absolutely my pleasure.
Yeah, so thank you for doing one of our first Brother on the Street interviews.
All right. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I know you got to get in the room.
Yep.
So.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
And we're back. That was a great job by our brother on the street.
Yes. Well, I don't know what he talked about because we're going to edit this thing later, so I can't really give.
It was awesome.
So yeah, how about that interview he did with the guy? Like
you should have been there.
Yeah,
when that happens.
Wow. Yeah. So maybe the future will hear these before they get spliced in. We could talk about it.
No, what we can do is we just tell him we're a week ahead, right? And then he'll send it a week in advance,
right?
And then we'll have it, and he'll never know.
Guess the cat's out of the bag. We haven't heard it yet.
Don't tell him.
Oh, so
but we're sure it's going to be awesome.
So what else do we got, Larry? What else do you want to talk about?
Larry's looking at his cricket phone, trying to figure out how to get on the internet.
He's still trying to play Word with friends, I think.
We're still trying to.
Larry, I'm not going to accept your MySpace friend request.
Okay. We're still trying to get with Jack Aquilina to do our Christmas special. Is that right?
Right. Yeah. I don't know when we're going to do that. So it's got to be soon. So I'm hoping that we can release it on Christmas Day or the Monday after.
I'm looking
Day.
at his Facebook posts, and there's a whole lot of partying going over there right now.
Yeah, it looks like he's
a lot of it.
Enjoying
and they have
his
something
graduation.
similar to the Santa Stumble that you guys have, and they wear these.
The kangaroo hop or something?
Yeah, something like that.
The
yeah,
kangaroo
they're all
caper.
dressed in red and white, and they almost look like business suits, but they're red and white. And yikes!
Well, that sounds hot.
Yeah, they don't have snow over there. Well, didn't they just get hit with snow in some of the mountainous
Yeah,
areas?
they're coming into spring right now.
Well, it's a freaking continent,
it's soon
so I
gonna
guess
be-
they got cold areas.
It's soon going to be summer down there.
Yeah, nice.
They're the opposite of what we are.
Right. Their Masonic North is actually the South.
Right.
How do they do that? Oh, yeah.
They get they walk around the room counterclockwise.
Is that
to,
what
to
happens?
Circumnavigate the
Approach the west.
Yeah, it's very confusing, but yeah, Jason, after like my 8th drink last night, asked me, how much would it cost if? Well, the first year, like, I guess it'd be cheaper to get Jack to come over here.
We need to get Jack over here, right?
Because all 3 or 4 of us would want to go, and we can't send 4 people. So it'd be cheaper to pay for Jack's ticket to come here.
Well, isn't there Masonicon coming up in April?
Yeah, up in Attleboro, Massachusetts, we're doing Masonic Con at
What about
Ezekiel
AMD
Bates
week?
Lodge. That's in January. AMD
February?
week, February.
February, I think.
Hey! Can't we all participate in this? I would love to come to AMD week, but I can't.
Oh, again with this.
No, I'm just saying that if we're going to bring Jack here, we should do something completely participatory.
Oh yeah,
I need my
your participation ribbons.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you need an award. We get it. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say that Carol and I are talking about maybe making a trip over there. It was probably on my bucket list the last place I ever really wanted to go, only because it takes 160 hours to get there by plane, which is a slight exaggeration, but it's a long flight.
That's a lot of opportunities.
It's a couple of long
we've been
flights.
talking about, it might be an interesting place to visit.
That's a lot of opportunities to get hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They got
Lord.
great white sharks and
Poisonous
kangaroos
spiders.
and
I
all
didn't
kinds
think
of
of
weird
that.
stuff.
Yeah, the thing that's been making the rounds here in the United States is that viral video of the guy punching the kangaroo in the face.
Yeah.
The kangaroo and his dog were getting into a scrap, and he just went up and cold cocked the kangaroo.
I think that actually was Jack.
Yeah, maybe. No, I'm not gonna mess with a kangaroo. They're some bad sons of bitches.
Big feet.
The kangaroo was much taller than the guy in the video, so
he was.
So it
Yeah.
definitely was Jack.
But the kangaroo looked stunned when he got hit in the snout.
The picture I saw looked like he had like microcephaly. He had the kangaroo had this little teeny head.
They don't have Zika there.
What? No Zika?
Oh.
I do think we should start a Masonic Light GoFundMe to get Jack Aquilina here.
I think that's a good idea.
Well, we're gonna try and scam money out of our listeners. Let's at least do something more fun.
Well, it's not a scam. Just something we can start thinking about.
There you go.
I'm in.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, we could fly around the country to obscure lodges.
We could.
Let's find the smallest lodges in the United States.
Ooh.
All right, here we put a challenge out there. Listeners, if you're really interested and you think it would be a good idea to bring Jack Aquilina from Victoria, Australia, over here to the United States, and he's been here many times, by the way.
We went to college here.
Yeah, he went to college here. If you think it would be good, let's go ahead and start. Let's do a challenge. Let's see.
Send us some money.
Yeah,
That's
send
it.
us money.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, what's our address?
Make the check out to cash.
How about just email us? Find us on Facebook and shoot us a message.
Yeah. that'd be
Venmo.
Great. We're interested
Venmo.
in
The kids
hearing.
are all about Venmo now. You got to send money.
What are we going to do when he gets here, though?
Oh, chicken pot pie, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
I
Saturday.
can't believe that you can't send. Well, I guess I can't believe you can't send that contraband over there. We
Chicken
can't
pot pie, you
we-
can't
we can't
send a
nope, you can't
frozen
you can't
chicken
flash
pot
freeze
pie.
it.
We got to make them stay at your house with your zoo of kids.
No, absolutely not.
Right.
Jack would be more than welcome to stay at my place.
See, there you go.
In the suburbs, she'll be very excited.
Yeah, the suburbs. Beautiful
We'll
downtown.
put him on a
Melbourne.
cot in the backyard.
I mean, Lancaster Masonic Center is fully functional. You could stay there.
True.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I have taken a power nap on that couch.
How about the Marriott? That would be nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe a nice hotel.
Yeah, how
That's a
about
good
a
idea.
hotel? Yeah. What?
There's
No.
Airbnb we can find for under $50.
Cha-ching,
There you
cha-ching,
go.
cha-ching.
Well, there you go, Jack. We're bringing you over.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with news if we have any, and Larry's ramblings.
Hey, Masonic Light listeners. Thanks for tuning into the show and listening. But we want to hear from you. Do you have a great Masonic story to tell? Or would you like to be a guest? Or would you like to just call in and let us know where you're listening from or what lodge you belong to? We'd be happy to play it on an upcoming episode. In the meantime, find us at www.masoniclight.com or on Facebook at Masonic Podcasts and Twitter at Masonic Light. Please give us a call at 315-596-2766 or 315-59-MASON.
And we're back. Oh.
So what do we have coming up?
Well, we have hopefully the Christmas show with Jack Aquilina, if we can ever get that scheduled.
Yep. Well, like I said, let's just assume it's going to be released on Christmas.
We're either going to have a recording of Larry from his hospital bed, or we're gonna interview Carol. If it doesn't go well, we'll interview Carol.
Widows and orphans.
And we might.
So, Carol, we're gonna need you to step in. I'm gonna give you a week.
She writes half his material anyway. So.
Yeah. I don't know.
Speaking of having a woman guest, we will, and I'm trying to get it lined up for our Christmas show, but our foreign correspondent, Ima Blather, is going to make a guest appearance on our show. She's still in Tibet. She's doing a big research project for all of the lodges in England, Masonic lodges, and she's writing a book. And she's going to give us a call from Tibet and talk to us. Nice lady. She's English. She's British.
Now, I think it's worth mentioning that this holiday show, the only way that we
he just glossed over Larry.
Gone.
Like, yeah,
I'm sorry.
no.
I'm sorry. But
Cut that out later.
I think it's worth mentioning that it's looking like we're going to stream it live when we record it.
Okay, so like all 5 of our listeners can listen.
Right.
At once.
So all 5 of us can, because the finished product will be edited. But if somebody wants to see the real, cluster,
The raw feed.
yeah, the cluster that is Masonic Light Podcast.
Well, we should all wear a hat.
Oh, of course.
You can wear your Tall Cedars Pyramid.
I'm not wearing my Tall Cedars Pyramid. I'm gonna wear my grotto hat. My face.
Any kind of a hat would do.
Any kind of hat, yeah.
Think I'll be able to drink?
Oh, do whatever you want.
Well, I mean,
I'm going to be in a hospital bed, so I guess I can drink and take whatever.
well, you're
taking opium all night
painkillers
long.
or-
What do you want?
well, you'll probably be on some sort of blood thinner type deal, right? You probably shouldn't.
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I'm going to guess you probably shouldn't. But I don't care.
Doesn't bother us any.
Okay.
The
I got some great scotch.
But you did, Larry. So you did ask about talking about a female on the show, Mrs. the Monarch or Mrs. the Past Monarch. She offered, like, if there's ever a show where I'm away and you guys are here recording, she would volunteer to come in and be a guest, and you can get the wife of a Mason's perspective.
I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
How do you record an eye roll?
Yeah.
No, he said his wife, not mine.
All of them. Yeah. So
That's universal.
she grew up Mennonite. She knew nothing about Freemasonry before she dated me. She still really knows nothing. But after meeting you guys, she's completely fine with me going out because she knows absolutely no women are ever going to talk to me when I'm out with you guys. I'm pretty safe. Jack is taking a panoramic picture of us in my tiny little
That's going on the
studio.
MLP Facebook page right there,
my
buddy.
goodness.
Because people should see the squalor we record in.
Very pro in here.
Yeah, if you're
that's a
going to
good
beg for money, you
that's a
should
good
show them
idea.
why.
Well, if Larry could ever get us that, table, because he just doesn't want to go to Walmart and spend $40. He's trying to get a church to donate one.
No, I've gotten to the point where in January I'm going to go buy one. Hell with waiting for people to
So then we're going
donate one. They just don't do it. So
right. So then we're going to move down into the basement of the Gap Lighthouse.
that's right.
And
A
it's
historic place.
yes. So
There was a listener who posted something very nice about us on Facebook, and it unfortunately is escaping me. I'm trying to find out who it was, but there was a brother who mentioned if you don't have, if you don't have anything to do or you have a long drive to work, there's plenty of good Masonic podcasts out there, and he gave us.
he mentioned all the good ones, and as an afterthought, he mentioned us.
And oh, by the way, yeah, if you're in the hospital.
Yeah.
If you run out of all other options, I guess you can hear these guys.
We definitely it wasn't an afterthought. He specifically
tagged us.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
tagged
yeah.
us and he called us out as
And
being,
you thanked them for doing it.
I did.
Yeah.
But I have short-term memory loss, so
right. So because we're horrible people, whoever you are, brother, thank you so much. We'll scroll back through the Facebook page.
Yeah, I mean, don't feel bad because I walk into rooms and I have no idea why I'm there.
Yeah, and who else is another big proponent of our show? Is it Mike Hambrick? I don't know if I'm saying your name right.
Mike is a big proponent of all podcasts.
Right. Yeah, and
he always lets me know what the Masonic Roundtable guys are going to do and reminds me that when it's going to be live.
Right, and I think that he just recently has kind of joined their ranks, similar to how I joined this podcast. I believe he is the intern, I think is what they're referring to him as. But he always has really nice things to say about it. So thank you.
Well,
Mike.
we'll have to, now that if we can ever get that technology working again, we should call him up.
Oh yeah, we got the technology.
He could be a guest.
We've got the power.
Yeah, great idea.
So if any of you guys want to be a guest, now we can interview you. You either have to have something semi-interesting, or if not, at least have something we can make fun of you about, because that's a good backup.
Semi-interesting.
Absolutely, works all the time.
All right, Larry, take us out of here.
It is time for our special thanks time of the night. You guys call it my ramblings. Special thanks to Monarch Studios for letting us use this fine facility again. Our producer and co-host Jason Lewis, Jack Harley, our news director, R.C. McCorvey, brother on the street, and Seth Anthony for his insight into fraternities we had no idea existed. To our budget director, Sasha Titus, our audience response advisor, Lukewarm, and our grammar.
You know, up until
Sasha Titus,
up until like right at the up until Seth, it was actually like, oh my God, he sounded like he was a professional announcer. Sasha Titus.
I got to continue. Time's running out. And to our grammar consultant, M. Shirley Wright. And again, our foreign news correspondent, Eimer Blather, who will be making an appearance on our Christmas show. And again, continued recognition to our new law firm, Hammer, Hammer, and Boom. And I'll leave you with this final Masonic word. Pancakes are the building blocks of the world. This is Larry Maris. Thanks for listening.
Jason Lewis.
Pete Ruggieri.
And what's left of Jack Harley.
Goodbye.
Hello.
Episode 20. What's our topic? What are we talking about today? Larry, you got something.
Testing. I'm dead.
My headphones
Shit,
are
I don't
kind
wanna
of
say that.
loopy, but whatever. If it sounds good to you, I'm okay.
Testing. I think I'm live now.
The chicken is in the pot. 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 Get the guys in here.
I'm ready whenever you guys are.
There's an alarm. Okay. I have somebody's phone. No. Thank you, Brother McCorvey.
Talking about masonry.
We should have said a final farewell to Larry's shoulder.
Do you get to keep it?
I don't think you do.
They wouldn't let me.
The squalor. That is awful.